It's time to predict the scores of week 41 of this 2022-2023 championship season. Congratulations to Burnley, who've made it back into the Premier League. Still got another, 7 games to play of this season as well. So a magnificent effort from Vincent Kompany's men there. Last week in game week 40, top scorer with a great score of 17.5 points was Malugulu, and the overall table now sees GKK 474 remain at the top of that leaderboard on 380 points. 15 points in front of Douglas James Horn and Rhino. But we move on to this game week 41. Games taking place on Easter Monday. A real quick turnaround of fixtures since those games on Friday or Easter Friday. So first up, at 12:30, we've got Huddersfield coming up against Blackburn Rovers. Huddersfield, 3 wins on the bounce now, really giving themselves a real fighting chance of survival this season. An excellent 3-2 away win against Watford, whereas Blackburn back-to-back defeats now. In this match, I think Huddersfield will continue their good form, and I think they'll come away with a 2-1 win. Then we move on to St Andrews, where Birmingham City come up against Stoke City. Now, Stoke surprisingly losing the first game in 6 fixtures at home against Bristol City last time out, and it was a draw for Birmingham after back-to-back wins. Another tight one here, but I fancy Stoke City to get back to winning ways, and I fancy the Potters to come away with a 1-0 away win. We then move on to the Cardiff City Stadium. Cardiff City taking on Sunderland. Cardiff, an absolutely fantastic victory away against Blackpool, which will give them a massive morale boost after that South Wales derby defeat against Swansea and their fight against relegation as well. Where Sunderland, it's 3 draws on the bounce and a magnificent, well, for the neutral it was a 4-4 draw against the Tigers Hull City in that televised match on Friday evening. So another tight one. Cardiff got a few injury worries now. Sunderland will be backed by 2,500 travelling fans. So I think another tight one, could be a goal in it, but I am going to go for a 1-1 draw. Incidentally, Nathan will be vlogging this match, so watch out for a vlog on his channel coming very shortly. We then move on to the Rico Arena, where Coventry City take on Watford. Watford's form all over the place. Only 1 win in their last 7 matches. Back-to-back defeats. A terrible home defeat against Huddersfield in last fixture, and prior to that it was a defeat against Luton 2-0. Coventry City, a draw against Swansea 0-0 at Swansea.com Stadium, where either team could have won that match. I fancy Coventry to take all 3 points in this one, and I'm going to go for a comprehensive 2-0 win at the Rico Arena. We then move on to the MKM Stadium, where Hull City take on Millwall. Millwall, 2 defeats in their last 7, but 2 draws in their last 2 fixtures. A 0-0 draw against, you could say, historically bitter rivals Luton Town in their last match. And Hull City, it's been 3 draws in their last 3 fixtures, and I fancy another draw in this one. Not as high scoring as the game against Sunderland, but I do think it'll end up all square at 1-1. We then move on to Luton Town at Kenilworth Road. They want to really cement themselves in those playoff places where they hope to gain Premier League status at the end of the season. Coming up against a Blackpool side who were a lot better in that second half against Cardiff City, where they suffered a 3-1 home defeat. It is 4 defeats in the last 5 fixtures now, and I think it's going to be another defeat for Blackpool, and I think Luton are going to run away with this one 2-0. We then move on to Carrow Road, where Norwich City take on Rotherham. Always a difficult place to go, Carrow Road. Rotherham coming away with a very good victory against West Brom, which saw Jordan Hugill, a former Norwich player, scoring a brace in that fixture against West Brom. So come back against his former club. I think Norwich will come out on top in this one. It'll be tight, with Norwich winning this one 1-0. We then move on to Deepdale, where Preston North End take on Reading. Preston, 4 wins in their last 5 matches, and Reading, okay, it's been 3 draws in their last 7 matches, or 3 draws on the bounce now. A 6 points deduction as well doesn't help their cause against relegation. In fact, they find themselves in the bottom 3 now. Deepdale, you've got to fancy the home side, and I think Preston will come away with a 2-1 victory. We then move on to the Hawthorns, where West Brom take on Queen's Park Rangers. Queen's Park Rangers, 6 defeats in their last 7 matches. A terrible defeat against Preston in their last game, and West Brom will have to give something back to their fans after they lost against Rotherham 3-1, and I think they will. I think West Brom will take all 3 points in this one, 2-1. Then we move on to the DW Stadium, where Wigan Athletic take on Swansea. Swansea in the last fixture had opportunities to beat Coventry, but ultimately it ended up as a 0-0 scoreline, and Wigan Athletic only losing narrowly 1-0 against Sheffield United 1-0. I think this one, Wigan are battling for their lives at the bottom of that table, and I think it's going to end up in another draw here, 0-0. We then move on to Ashton Gate, where Bristol City take on Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough, I think, looking at that match against Burnley, were a little bit unlucky. They had opportunities to make it 2-2 in that game, but ultimately lost. And Bristol City, a very, very good win against Stoke City, who've been in fine form themselves. So I think these teams are going to probably just about cancel each other out. Middlesbrough trying to hunt down that second automatic promotion place, but I think it's going to end up 1-1. In the final fixture of this game week on Easter Monday, we see Burnley first take on Sheffield United, the Blades, in second position. Burnley want to put on a show for their fans after their promotion back to the Premier League. Sheffield United will want to consolidate, want to cement that second automatic promotion berth as well. They did a 1-0 narrow victory against Wigan Athletic. However, at home, in front of their fans celebrating, I think Burnley will run away with this one 3-1. So that concludes my predictions for week 41 of this 2022-2023 Championship season. Things are really hotting up at the top of the table, and especially at the bottom, where you've got the likes of Huddersfield, Cardiff, QPR, Reading, Wigan, Blackpool, all fighting for survival. Make sure you leave your predictions over at the Superbrew website. See if you can climb that table. Thanks for joining me once again. I'll see you all in the next video.